Look at this park, right in the heart of Singapore. Beautiful, right? 20 years ago, the river here looked like this. Freeing it up has not just made this area prettier, it also helps save lives. That's because floods and heat waves are becoming a lot more common. This is an especially big problem for cities, where more than half of the world's population lives. How Singapore and other cities will adapt will make the difference between living with chronic risks for life and health, or just occasional discomfort. So let's look at what some of the biggest cities around the world are getting right, and what others can learn from it. Look at these bubbles. Each of them represents one of the 50 biggest cities in Europe. The bigger the bubble, the more people live here. Now let's sort these cities by how vulnerable they are to the effects of climate change, like heat, cold, floods, or storms. Out of these cities, Copenhagen has the least to fear from climate change. It's rich and in relatively temperate northern Europe, so any risks they face can be easily taken care of. Cities like war-torn Kiev or Rome with their hot summers look a little bit different already. But compared to some other parts of the world, they're still in a pretty good position. The most vulnerable cities tend to be in the global south. Lagos, Nigeria's biggest city, for instance, is all the way over here, or Port-au-Prince on the coast of Haiti here. And some of the biggest cities in the world, like Delhi or Mumbai in India, or Karachi in Pakistan, are among the most vulnerable to climate change. One issue is that these cities are growing really fast.
It's unplanned. Because of that, the cities, even as they are continuing to deal with the historical development deficits that we have, the newer challenges of changing climates are mounting.
Anjali Mohan has worked with cities in India and across the global south on climate action plans. She says even within cities, some people are much more at risk than others.
It's the most marginalized who are disproportionately impacted. So a lot of people live in, let's say, tin roof houses. So everyone is experiencing that temperature, but in the tin houses, because of the tin roof, the inside gets very, very heated up. It has very dire consequences for health, as well as for everyday survival.
Lower income people in Central and South Asia, for example, are being hit particularly hard by heat waves, according to experts from the IPCC. For richer people, things are a lot more comfortable. Things like air conditioning, stable houses, reliable transport, or indoor work make any crisis more bearable. So what should cities do to adapt? Shruti Narayan works with cities around the world who have the same question.
You cannot have a single starting point. It has to be a two-pronged effort.
The first prong, short-term reactions.
You need to prepare your city immediately with quick measures to ensuring that your people are safe and secure.
Delhi, for instance, has been struggling to get heat warnings across to those most affected. So people have come up with new ideas. WhatsApp groups and physical warning signs like these are available for some of the many informal workers in Delhi's outdoor markets and waste segregation centres, thanks to the work of Greenpeace India, workers' unions, and the India Meteorological Department. Bangladesh has long used these methods to warn people about floods, too. We have a whole video about their approach here. Countries around the world are catching on, improving their data and warning systems so they can spring into action in time. Once people know there is an issue, they need to be able to get help.
You need to be having adequate shelters. Your healthcare systems need to be mobilized with your emergency services. So you're aware of kind of how do you move these people? How do you protect them, provide them food, provide them water, and keep them safe?
This museum in Madrid, for instance, becomes a climate shelter during the city's hotter and hotter summers, with free entry, free water, and crucially, free air conditioning. Cities around the world are catching on to this idea too. In this year's Climate Action Questionnaire by the non-profit CDP, 21 cities said they're offering public shelters, particularly during heat waves. And a lot of initiatives are organized privately as well, like here in Chennai, where companies and advocates have organized restrooms with water, toilets, and air conditioning for the city's many delivery workers. And then there are long-term adaptations. This is anything that is going to make future floods and heat waves easier to deal with. Remember Bishan-Ang Mo Kio Park in Singapore, where they freed the riverbank? They did the same in Munich in the 2000s, and in Madrid, and in Toronto. When it rains, open riverbanks like these absorb water much better, letting the water flow and drain into the soil without endangering the surrounding city. Here's Bishan Park during heavy rain, working exactly as intended. The project was an economic win too. The concrete canal needed repairs anyway, which would have cost around $120 million. Opening the river, half as much. Many of these types of so-called nature-based solutions can help against both heat and floods. Planting trees, building parks, greening roofs and buildings, all of these cool down hot city centers and help absorb water during storms. In 2024, more than half of big cities reported similar types of green infrastructure projects, like here in Chennai, Amman, Mexico City, or in Bangkok. There's a lot to be done beyond greening cities as well. If your house is not insulated, it can't protect you from heat. If it isn't stable, it will get damaged in a flood. If you can't get clean water, heat waves become more deadly. And if there are no functioning drains in your area, water can't flow when it rains.
Let's start with how do you put water and sanitation in place for the entire city and make sure that everybody has access to it.
Safe drinking water, better drainage, safer housing, even better transport to help people get to safety. Expanding basic services like these makes everyday life better and can help protect people during heat and floods. As cities are building and upgrading their infrastructure, they can opt for materials that better deal with weather extremes. Some cities have been experimenting with porous pavements that can absorb water better. Phoenix in the United States has been spraying their pavement with light paint to keep it cooler in the heat. The same works for roofs. In Los Angeles, every new or renovated building now has to be made with heat-resistant materials. Cities around the world are reporting similar measures. Some adaptations can be expensive, but others can be quite easy and cheap. Those tin roofs that make heat waves almost unbearable, even just painting them white can help, like they're doing here in Ahmedabad. Today, most major cities around the world have concrete plans for adapting to climate change, which is a good starting point.
At this point, the conversation is how do you make them inclusive? How do you actually make it a permeable green space which is accessible to everybody? And then that advances the whole idea of social and environmental justice.
Because remember the report showing that lower income people are much more affected by climate risks? The same report also said that if cities did the things they say they're planning to do, things would get a lot better. In some regions, like in Africa, doing not only what is currently planned, but also everything that could be done, would even mean that both rich and poor people would only experience occasional discomfort, instead of serious chronic risks from heat waves.
I believe that we can do it. We can make our cities livable if we are able to take urgent action now together.
How would you want your city to help you deal with heat or flooding? Let us know in the comments and follow along for more videos like this.